Good afternoon and welcome to another episode of Unscripted and Unchained RPG Review. I am DM Bloodworth, and as you can see by the graphics, today's video was kind of like a hodgepodge of many different parts coming together. One of which was a mail call, and then also some inspiration that I've been drawing upon for an upcoming convention. So a lot of what I'm going to be talking about is all prep work for the convention in September that I am not only attending, but I'm running a game there. It is ShireCon. It is September 15th and 16th. So there's a Friday evening session and then all day Saturday, I'm sorry. And I am running a session of Weird Frontiers. So the first time I played this was back in April at Rising Phoenix Con. Absolutely loved the game. Was like ran out and bought it, so it cost me $100 to get the two, the two volumes. They're both like this thick, they're huge. And reading through the system, it's based on DCC. So, I decided that if I'm going to run this at a convention, convention play, even though a lot of people, and legitimately so, say theater of the mind is enough to, really carry through and get everyone immersed, at a gaming table, whether you're, live or virtual. But I wanted to have actual physical things at the table for the players to actually interact with. And so when I go there, I'm going to have 10 character sheets that they can draw upon, and, it's a table of five, so maybe six. So they'll have a selection of character sheets. Those character sheets are going to be, printed out in color on a fairly heavy card stock. I want these things to be something that are going to be memorable for the players. I got several sets of the DCC dice that I will also share out there so they can use them. They don't necessarily need to bring their own dice, so I'll have at least three sets going. This game system actually calls for, standard card decks as well, so poker card decks. And so I'll have two of those in case any of their character classes actually require them to draw from a poker deck in order to determine some unforeseen outcomes, especially with like shooting firearms and such. So I knew the game system that I was going to be running. I knew some of the things that I wanted to make sure that I have to bring to the table to add more physical aspect to it. Now comes the inspiration part. So I am a huge Robert E. Howard fan. Robert E. Howard is by far my favorite author of all time. And Robert E. Howard is actually, if not the first, one of the first authors to actually write weird Western fiction, and as a matter of fact, I think he is the first. So I was like, let me find a Robert E. Howard story that I can build an adventure around. And so I came across the Horror on the Mound, or From the Mound, sorry, and May 1932 is when it made its way into Weird Tales, most likely. And read through it, and I was like, okay, I know some other things that I want to make sure that I get. So here we go. Now, it's not going to be an exact duplicate of the story, but many of the components of the story are going to be there. So once again, I hit the market looking for various things. So on eBay, I got a set of, sorry about the garage sound. Hold on one second. Okay, sorry about that delay. So I went online on eBay for about $12. I found um, these small figures here. Actually, let me change view. And so just a number of different. I believe it's about 10 to 12. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 13. kind of an odd number, but just a number of different Western characters. So I have 13 of them. I will obviously make character sheets that kind of correspond roughly with what the figures are, and those will be the choice of the players. Now, the story of the horror from the mound really centers around vampires, and so I picked up a little thing also off of eBay. So vampires. This is from WizKids, but like I said, I bought it off of eBay, so I won't buy from WizKids. So got a nice vampire, and then this was also on. This one actually I got on Amazon, and it's just a number of zombies. This was fairly cheap too, probably about $10, $12. And these are going to stand in for the vampiric spawn that are covered in weird frontiers as well. So there's only a few more things that I have to get, all set up for my game in September. But as you can see, when you're, when you're prepping, when you're a game master and you're going to a convention like setting, or even you're going to be running a game for new people coming to your table, especially if you're in person, I think that you really do need to pull out your A game. All right, so that's the first segment of my, you know, inspiration, convention prep, and miniatures part of the hobby, or part of my video here. The next step, while I was on eBay, and I had a discussion with somebody online, and we were kind of talking about Gary Gygax and some of his stories, and in particular, they were talking about his novels that were set in Greyhawk, and I had recently been actually going over a series of shorts going over the Greyhawk novels. So it just so happened that while I was on eBay looking for those miniatures, I was like, you know what? I don't have all of Gary Gygax's books for Greyhawk, or attached to Greyhawk. And so I have a third and final one coming in the mail, but I did get a really, really nice copy of the City of Hawks, and amazing that this is 1987, and it is in really pristine condition here. And then I also picked up Dance of Demons, and then I have the final one. This one's a little bit rougher, but still in pretty decent condition. And then the final book, and you can see right behind my shoulder, I was going to work. Right there are the other four novels that Gary Gygax wrote, all set in the world of Greyhawk, most centering on the character Gord the Rogue. And really excited about completing that. I'm kind of a completionist. Now, I don't mind coming out and saying that, Gary Gygax as an author of fiction is certainly, he's not top tier. I mean, he's certainly not a Robert E. Howard or George R. Martin, or along those lines. It's his world building, no, and your connection to, or these books' connection to Greyhawk, that I think these really do shine. And so he was a great world builder, and Greyhawk is by far my favorite setting to run anything D&D, and even Castles and Crusades. Upcoming with a new campaign of Castles and Crusades set in Greyhawk. And so that's another part of my mail call. I do have one more book coming in like 3-4 days, but I'm also getting prepared to go on vacation. And so I didn't want to wait to get this video out here. I wanted to just grab everything that I had going forward. The last part of this is I finally picked up, these came out a little while ago, but I finally picked up the two hardcover books for Mifrog. And one is the Land of Thule Deluxe, and this is kind of like an atlas of the world. A lot of I'm going to do separate videos on these. A lot of additional art, color art, really, really beautiful. And then the other is the Creatures of Thule, and also deluxe edition. So it takes the three soft covers, puts them into this one hardcover, and then adds a lot more art and color art as well as others. Binding is really, really good. You can see that the stitch binding. So these are going to be long lasting. And so as I go through these, um, you'll see the quality in it. My history with Mifrog, because I know Mifrog has kind of like a dark cloud around it because of its author and some of his views and such. And I separate, in many, many cases, I separate the artist from their art. I don't like to, I don't have to agree with them on everything. I might not even have to like them if their art is just so exceptionally, good. And this game system is the game system that got me back into the tabletop role playing game hobby back in 2015. And so I've always been a big fan of the system itself. I really like the mechanics of it. I like the lethality of it, and it really is it's a much better game system than it's given credit for. And I think that has a lot to do with the views of the author really take away from the quality of the product. And it's a shame, but it is what it is. And so I will always be a fan of the game system, even though I might not necessarily agree with the individual that created it. Even though in whatever interactions I've ever had with him, or online, via emails or posts or whatever, has always been very, very positive. But again, it's sometimes you have to make that separation between the two. So otherwise, I won't be able to watch most movies if I use that. Oh, excuse me. If I use that for a gauge of whether I'm going to interact with a product or not, is if I 100% agree with the person that's creating that product. Like I said, I probably wouldn't be able to see a movie or watch a television show, considering the way that many, many actors, let's say, do not hold the same beliefs, values, or whatever political persuasion as I do. So that all being said, I'll switch back into views here and get right back to this. Um, yeah, overall, the last 2 weeks, a lot of things have been coming into play. Um, Last 2 weeks, I've been moving forward, quite a bit with my prep for my new campaign coming up. Now I've moved it up to about August, it might start. And then in September, just really geared up for that gaming convention. That really excited to get to the table again and to put on a live game with all of these different components that the players will be able to actually handle and roll and move around on the board and everything. So really excited about that. So thanks for joining. I hope you liked this video. Um, be on the lookout for upcoming videos, and the best way to do that is to subscribe, hit the alarm button so that you will get those alerts. And you know, questions, comments, share, do all of those things to help the channel keep on growing and increasing that reach. I know I've been getting announcements, on my cell phone. It was like, oh, this is a recommended video, and it's my own video. So I know that recommendations are going out there for the channel. So the more that you interact, the more that kind of thing will happen and it'll start spreading. The channel just hit 2,800 the other day. Really excited about that. At 3,000, I'm going to do a giveaway and give away a lot of my surplus tabletop RPG stuff that I do have, because I do have some duplicates here and there, and some things that you longer are going to fit within my limited space and collection. So that coming up, I anticipate that to happen hopefully around the anniversary. So hopefully by December, I will be at that 3,000 mark, and I'll be able to send some people some pretty neat gifts as well for that. So as always, enjoy the rest of your weekend. I look forward to seeing you on a gaming screen sometime soon, and possibly at a convention table, in the near future. So take care. Thanks.